What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Kelly Matthews. Today, we're going to be talking about gym equipment and tools that you see all the time, and I want you to learn how to use them and also when to use them, which I think is an important piece. We're going to talk about lifting straps, belts, knee sleeves, and lifting shoes. First, we're going to talk about straps. There's two different types that I'm going to go over today. Number one is the Versa Grip, which is the kind that I use. They're slightly more expensive, a little pricier, but I think they're worth the money. You also have the option to use just regular lifting straps. These will cost you about $10 to $15. You can find them on Amazon. They're a little bit trickier to use, in my opinion, but they're cost effective and they do work. So first, I'll show you how to use the Versa Grips. They have these little kind of anchors here, and you want to make sure that when you put them on, they don't unfortunately have a left or a right on them, I don't think, but you want it to kind of follow the contours of your hand. So as you can see, when I put this on my hand, I have a little space for my thumb here. So that's going to be for my left side. And you just anchor it with the Velcro right around your wrist. I like to go like almost on my hand, because what happens when you put the weight on there is it's going to pull down to your hand anyways. So put it pretty low and make sure it's on there tight. There's pads on there so it doesn't hurt your hands. Put the other one on. Okay, now that I have them on, the most important thing you need to know is that this goes on the other side of whatever you're using. So if you're using a dumbbell, this is going to go underneath the handle, wrap around, and then you're going to grab onto it. Same goes for the barbell. It's going to go underneath, you'll roll it around, grab onto it, and that's what's going to help you with your grip. First, I'm going to show you on the barbell. You want to come underneath the bar here. So I'm going to shoot these under. I'm going to do an RDL. And you want to wrap them around. This will take a little practice. And then you want to get it so that this part kind of lands right on your palms. Once you have a good grip, what you can do is turn the bar a little bit and adjust your grip until you feel it tighten on your wrists. That's important because that means that the strap is taking on some of the load for your grip. So once you feel like they're nice and tight, you can roll the bar toward you until you feel that, and then you're going to pick the bar up. From there, you can just go through the exercise the same way you know how to do it, but you should be able to grip much more weight with the straps than you would without them. The traditional lifting straps are going to work the same way, but you're going to put them on a little bit differently. So they'll come to you like this. What you're going to want to do is take this side and loop it through that little loop there, and then you'll pull it a little bit tight. As you can see, this strap has some little like grippies on here to help you grip whatever you're holding on to. Some of them will not have that, but if they do, you want that to be facing out. Once this is in here, you want to put your hand through the smaller part of the hole. Okay, so you can see this one's bigger, this one's smaller. So I want to put my hand through here. That's the wrong hand. You want to put your hand through here, and you want that strap to come right across your hand. So it goes right toward your thumb. That's not required. You could do it the other way and it would work, but this is technically the correct way to do it. So what you'll do then is it will wrap around the bar the same way we did with the other straps. So I'm going to put this other one on. Once you have your straps on the correct hands, you can grab onto, this time we're going to use a dumbbell. And just like with the Versa Grips, I'm going to take the strap and put it on the other side of my hand. So that bar should be right, or the handle should be in between the strap and your hand. This will take a little more wrapping, but I like to go like this, wrap it around nice and tight. And then the same thing applies for this strap, where you want to kind of crank it almost like you're starting a motorcycle, like that. Vroom, vroom. And you want to crank it until you feel some good pressure on your wrist. And then from there, you'll be able to pick your dumbbell up and do whatever exercise you want to do with it. Now, how do you know when it's time to use straps? This is a really common question I get. Grip strength is important. It's a good skill to have. You want your grip to be as strong as possible, but you don't want your grip strength to be the limiting factor for how strong you get. So if you feel like you could lift more weight and you're only limited by your grip strength, use straps. Go for as long as you can without the straps, and then when you're ready and you can't go anymore, you want to put the straps on and lift as heavy as you can. You don't want to be limited by that grip strength, so use your straps. Next, we're going to go over lifting belts. You'll see a lot of different styles. This is a lever belt. You'll also see more of a traditional style belt that has like the holes and the little loops. And you'll also see some Velcro belts. It's more of a preference thing with the Velcro belts. They're not going to provide you as much support as a more heavy duty belt like this one. You can see that this one's fairly thick, so it's going to give me a lot more support when I need it. So if you're getting into powerlifting or you're starting to really lift heavy, you may want to invest in a higher quality belt because you can keep these forever. Okay, I can keep this for the rest of my life as long as I don't lose it. So what this belt is going to do for me, it's going to allow me to increase my intra-abdominal pressure. If you think about your belly like a big balloon, you're going to kind of inflate that balloon all the way around and then create pressure by pushing into the belt. This is something you can do without the belt, but again, it's going to allow you to increase that pressure by adding some extra sort of restriction from the outside. Some exercises you'll see people use their belt for are squats and deadlifts in particular, but especially if you're somebody that struggles with lifting heavier on your lunges or really any places where you're going to need more support through your core, you can introduce a belt. With the lever belt, it's just going to kind of click in here. When it's newer, it's going to take some time for it to break in. But as you can see, when I tighten this belt, it's very tight around my belly. It almost shouldn't feel comfortable, but you shouldn't be able to fit more than 2 fingers in the belt when it's on tight. Okay, if you can, that means it's a little too loose and you're not going to be able to get as much pressure as you need. So when I approach the bar, we're going to use a deadlift as an example here. What I'm going to do is when I load up, I'm going to take that big breath in, I'm going to expand, and then I'm going to push against that belt, and it's going to make my core feel really, really strong. And as you can see, I'm holding that breath in through the most difficult part of the lift. That's called the Valsalva maneuver. And it's really just that. It's taking a big breath in, creating that intra-abdominal pressure, holding it, and then exhaling once you finish the most difficult part of the lift. So how do you know when it's time to use the belt? The general rule of thumb is if you can squat and deadlift your body weight or more, you may want to start introducing the belt. But this can be different for everyone. If you're a brand new lifter, you definitely want to make sure that you get your lifts down without introducing the belt yet. You want to get really skilled at going through all the cues of your main lifts. And then when it starts getting heavier, introduce the belt. It's not a cheat code. It's just a tool for you to be able to lift heavier. And that's what we're all trying to do, right? So if you can squat or deadlift heavier than your body weight, you can start to think about adding a belt on your heavier sets. That's an important piece because I still do many, many sets without my belt on. You want to make sure that you're still getting stronger, you're building that core strength, but using the belt when you need it and when it can help you. Up next, we're going to go over knee sleeves. Knee sleeves are probably slightly less common than the other pieces of equipment that I've gone over, but they can be really, really helpful. You'll see powerlifters use knee sleeves. And what they do is not only keep your knees warmer, literally physically, they keep heat in. So if you have knee problems, it can actually be really helpful for you to wear knee sleeves for your lower body days. But also, they're actually going to give you a little extra bounce. So when you're squatting in particular, coming out of the bottom of your squat, they're going to give you just a little extra elastic quality at the bottom of your squat, which again will help you lift heavier. Your knee sleeves are meant to be very tight. So they're going to be pretty uncomfortable to put on at first. Mine are fairly broken in. It used to take me twice as long to put these on. But the easiest way I find to do it is to put them on inside out and put the bottom up first and then grab onto the top and pull it up and over. And you want it to cover your whole knees. Usually the website will have you measure your knee so you know what size to get that's correct for you. We're also going to put on some lifters, some squat shoes. So as you can see, these have a slight heel elevation. These are often used for Olympic lifting, cleans, snatches, which I don't do, but I use these to squat. And especially if you're looking to train your quads, having a heel elevation is really, really helpful. It will help you get more knee flexion, and it will eliminate some of your ankle mobility issues from the depth of your squat. So if you have a really hard time getting to parallel or below because your ankles are really stiff, elevating your heel a little bit will be incredibly helpful for that. So like I said, it can make your squat extra bouncy, give you a little more elasticity in the bottom. And also, as you can tell, I can sit nice and low into this squat. I can more than break parallel because my heels are nice and elevated, and these have a nice solid bottom and not like a cushy sole the way a running shoe would. So these are great for squatting. All right, that's it. All right, guys, that's all for today. Hopefully you learned something. If you like this content, please subscribe to my channel. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok. My handle is @KellyLMatthews. Thank you for joining me. I will see you guys next time.